We can't control China. We can't control India. And we can't control
but
a guy.
you
can't control a guy in a village that says, oil's too expensive, I'm going to burn the forest next to my village to keep my family warm.
You can do reasonable things to reduce the use of dirtier energy technologies, energy sources.
Well, let me put it to you this way. I believe there are probably technological innovations that will make oil and coal cleaner. I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Well, I don't know the science of it, but when people talk about clean coal, I think it's cost prohibitive and a little bit of a bullshitty argument.
It might be, but what I'm saying is they do have catalytic converters on cars now that prevent the pollution. I know that they can reduce the emissions from your car.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but we have that, and we did it because we didn't like breathing smog.
Yeah.
The market corrected itself.
Well, and China doesn't like breathing smog.
But they are.
Yeah, but they're doing shit about it because they're starting to hate it.
As they get more advanced, they will have the luxury of changing their energy.
But there's no reason that we can't negotiate. It's something that governments should be talking about with each other.
Absolutely not, because it turns out it's just a way of governments taxing people and using their power to push people around and get bribes. It turns out that, to me, the worst example is...
Now who's doing some ad hominem shit?
Well, I mean, Solyndra. When Obama came in, he gave billions of my tax dollars to stupid solar companies that went out of business.
And
those people
one
were his
stupid
big
solar company.
Not one, there were several.
Okay, several.
And it was many billions of dollars.
Look at biotech. I own a biotech mutual fund. And frickin' the way you get rich off of biotech or make a profit off of biotech is to invest in 300 different biotech companies, and 290 of which will go out of business and lose all the money invested in them. But the 10 remaining are the ones that come up with kick-ass shit, and you make all your money back on the 10 out of the 300 that survive. Ditto for any kind of cutting-edge technology. So Obama gave some money to a solar panel company that went belly up.
Okay, thank you.
There are, I'm sure, a few solar panel companies that will eventually survive.
But I don't want the government getting involved. That's where the bribery comes in. That's where the crazy liberal schemes come in. Let the market determine what's going to work and what isn't.
Let the government help the market by encouraging.
Where does it say in the Constitution that the government is supposed to step in and take our money and give it to who they want? Never, nowhere. That's not how this country was founded.
Yeah, but in 58, 59, Sputnik goes up, and we have a shit fit because the Russians put up the first orbital satellite.
Okay, but that's defense.
It's not defense. It's defense. It's defense, but it's also technological superiority.
Yes.
The government, everybody freaks out. The government steps in and kicks in a lot of money to math, science, technology, engineering. I love that.
Yeah, and I love it too. But I love it when it's for something I want. I want the country defended. I don't want the country to waste its money on harebrained schemes supposed to stop some global warming that may not even happen.
Solar panels aren't harebrained.
But what I'm saying is it's not the government's responsibility. Industry will take care of that.
Industry's had a chance to. Industry sits on money. Give industry a little push to develop new shit.
No. The government shouldn't be picking which industries based on these weird projections about what the temperature is going to be like in 70 years. I don't want the government to say there's this big thing that's going to happen, and we don't know when it's going to happen. It could be 70 years.
Well, we know it's already happening.
Yeah, it's getting a little hotter. We don't know how bad it's going to get.
America's cities.
It's possible that nothing bad will happen at all. It's possible that everything will be fine.
Well,
it'll just be like a hot summer. We don't know. It may not even be in 70 years. They don't know how bad it's going to be.
It's already.
Listen, I don't want the government taking money on something that is this vague. We don't know how bad it's going to be. We don't know when it's going to happen.
We know a lot.
And because of that, they get to take our money and put it into industries that their friends are running, because that's how it works out. And they get to impose taxes on all the businesses.
Then why build roads? Because somebody might have a sweet deal with a road builder. Why frickin' have the government do anything? Because anything the government does introduces the possibility of corruption.
Yeah, because the government is supposed to
So let's just all run around with no pants on.
No, we agree. As a society, we agree that we need roads. We don't agree that we need billions of dollars to be thrown into weird industries.
We need science and
fail.
technology. We need science and technology, and we need to continue to support them. And by the way, we need to continue to support the arts.
The arts?
We give such a little dribble of money to the arts, the government.
Okay, this is why Trump wants to end the arts, okay? Because it turned out that the liberals took over all those funding organizations, and they were giving the money to Palestinian lesbian mime troupes. They weren't giving it to painters and sculptors and people doing good art. It turned out to be a big cash cow for whatever liberal cause.
So why aren't you pressing the government? You're a traditional artist.
Because they'll never give the money to a traditional artist.
Why not? You're a minority now.
Because liberals hate traditional art. They hate anything that's traditional. And by the way,
you're a minority. You don't put yams up your butt.
That's why I don't get a grant, and I never will.
Yeah, but as a minority, a traditional artist practicing traditional crafts, why don't you get in there and say, hey.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a secret, but it won't be a secret now. It'll be heard by 1 billion of our followers. I knew somebody that was on one of those boards that was giving grants, and they were laughing about it because that particular year, not a single white heterosexual male got a grant.
So get on one of those fucking boards.
It's not going to change. I'm glad Trump's getting rid of it. Let the market bear what the art should be.
All right, okay, fine. Get rid of arts.
No, I'm not saying get rid of it. It's just get the government out of it. The government does a bad job. Whatever the government does, other than building roads, police, and military, they do badly.
Yeah, there's the government. So why does the government do roads, police, and the post office badly?
Because it's completely impractical to have a private army. The people in LA can't have their own army. There are certain things that we have to do as a society, as a civilization.
We're a bounteous country.
Yes.
Made bounteous by technology and innovation, harnessing natural resources.
Which were done by private industry, not by the government. Except for NASA and certain defense industries. Everything else was done by private industry.
Why can't the government take 1/10 of 1% or 2/10 or whatever to continue to promote science and technology?
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that when it comes to something like global warming, we don't really know what we need. We don't really know. CO2, eliminating CO2 may be a pipe dream. It may not be possible to cut down the CO2 enough.
But maybe there's a different way to do it.
Yeah, and I think industry will come up with that on its own. People
will
want to buy solar panels. People will want to drive Priuses, if that makes any difference, and I'm not sure it does. People will do it on their own. We don't need the government involved. I want the government to be building up a powerful army, getting police. I don't want the government picking which industries they're going to support and taxing industries they don't support. Do you know the Democrats destroyed the coal industry? Thousands of Americans were put out of work. You compassionate liberals were putting out of work thousands of people. Why? Where in the Constitution does it say?
Fucks shit
Where in the
up.
Constitution does it say that the government can step in and destroy a perfectly legal industry? Nobody said that. Nobody said we want you to end an American industry and put thousands of people out of work. That's not what the government was designed for by our founding fathers. If there are pollution standards that those companies are breaking, then we can fine them. We can say, look, you're emitting too much pollution. That I agree with. But you can't put a whole industry out of business because you've got this cockamamie idea about global warming.
It's not cockamamie, it's happening. There's data all over the place. You agree with me that there's global warming.
Yeah, and putting out of business thousands
putting
of coal
thousands
miners
of people.
is
Now,
not
we're a
the
country
solution.
of 325 or 329 million people in a world of 7.3 billion people, putting thousands of coal workers out of business. Now, getting rid of thousands of coal workers' jobs. Fucking take some of our bounty, and yeah, it's tax dollars, and retrain those fuckers. Or do what the government's been doing for 100 years, which is fucking give them a stipend to not fucking mine coal.
God, you typical liberal. You go in, you fuck up an industry, and then you put
It's a shitty
and then you
industry.
put people on welfare. And it's not a shitty industry.
Oh, it's-
half of your life you were being supported by coal.
Supported how?
Hey, princess. Is that you, princess?
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Look, guys. I changed my mind about being in the movie.
All right. Well, we're shooting right now, if you don't mind.
No, I don't.
All right.
Sorry.
What do you mean half my life I was supported by coal?
We've had coal industries our whole lives. You've benefited by coal. You're a coal user. With the coal, there's coals all
you know
over our
what? You know what
country.
I had most of my life is a fucking telephone landline. I still have one, and all it's good for is fucking calls from telemarketers trying to sell me fucking solar panels.
I think you should shut up about robot girlfriends. I think we're done.
All right.